There are so many qualities about BASIS graduates that sets them apart from other students. They not only have a wide breadth of content knowledge and skills in a multitude of subject areas, but I think what really sets them apart is their growth mindset and their tenacity for learning. They have a sense, because they've been inspired by their teachers, I think, to always challenge and push the limits. So, when I think about BASIS graduates, I really see them as innovators and creators. They don't just sit back passively and have knowledge and information thrown at them. They ask questions and they want to be actively engaged in what they're learning. So within the curriculum, students are required to take AP courses and sit at least 6 AP exams. Most of our students take anywhere from 10 to 14. So it's guaranteed that before they graduate high school, they will take AP Calculus. They have to take an AP English Language or AP English Lit exam. They take AP Government and Politics in 9th grade. They take AP European History and AP US History before they graduate. And they also take an AP Science class. What we often find is our students, because again, they have that desire and that tenacity for learning, that they want to do more. So we provide them with that opportunity. So some of our students at the end of high school have taken 14 AP exams and done very well on those exams. BASIS is very unique in that we provide a lot of support for students. We know that we're expecting them to achieve at a very high level in their academics. So with that, they need to have a balance in their lives. So some ways that we offer support is through our academic support program, in which students meet with a one-on-one coach. Once a week, they'll meet one-on-one, and they receive support in their organizational skills, in how to study, how to prepare for tests. And that helps because students, they're still teenagers and they're still children, and they still need help with learning time management skills.
The strong critical thinking skills that the BASIS.ed curriculum instills in its students comes from its rigorous and competitive foundation. I teach AP Literature, Honors Literature, and a post-AP and capstone literature class called Contemporary American Literature. So speaking from the perspective of a literature teacher, every literature class has a component of critical analysis and creative problem solving. And I think every teacher desires to instill critical thinking and creative problem-solving skills into their lessons. Regardless of the subject matter, the BASIS.ed curriculum is creating students who are astute critical thinkers and creative problem solvers. So I structure the lessons and critical analysis of my class similar to these short and small group seminars that I had in graduate school. We focus on formalism to start, which is basically, I always tell my students, particularly in a STEM-focused curriculum, that we are engineering or reverse engineering language, breaking down sentences and words into their component parts, and then analyzing how the authors are building them and coalescing them together to create meaning. And then I also teach the AP Literature course, which I love, and that course is structured around power. So AP Literature is structured around power and the individual's role in relationship to society. So who am I compared to all of the other billions of people in this world? And if I am just one individual, how do I make meaning in my life? And then finally, I also teach a contemporary American literature class. So this is a class that really combines sociology and formal literary analysis. We read books published since the year 2000, beginning and focusing on the events of 9/11, leading up to today. We read contemporary books by authors who are still living and writing and publishing, and we analyze them and question, what do these books have to say about our culture? What do they say about us as people? And how do our lives, the students that is, relate to these issues?
I've been at BASIS for 14 years, and I have taught every course available. So now I teach high school, Calculus AB, Calculus BC, and capstone math classes, multivariable calculus, and differential equations. Typically, students come to BASIS after to the middle school in 5th grade, and they do basic math. 7th and 8th grade is Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and then 9th grade pre-calculus, and then everybody is taking Calculus AB, AP course, and Calculus BC, AP course, and after AP we have plethora of capstone or post-AP math classes. They can come with topics, and we can go and explore whatever is of interest. So we were talking about topics from theoretical algebra to philosophy of math and what is math. So it's really, those are interesting classes. You know, our students are very good, and the curriculum is very challenging. So for them also, this is the time that they can learn that math is many things. It's not just the homework and tests and lectures. So they are encouraged to do research and think about math rather than just finish homework and be done with it.
I teach the honors chemistry and AP chemistry, the high school level chemistry. They get a good understanding early on of how the three different sciences exist on their own as their own discipline. And as science teachers, we strive for a lot of crossover and make sure that they understand that all these sciences relate to each other, but it's really helpful for them to really get into the meat of each science as its own discipline starting in 6th grade. So by the time they get to high school, where I teach them now, they have a good foundation, a good understanding of a lot of the basic concepts, and it makes my job so much easier. The amount of content in the AP chemistry curriculum is quite large, and the way we design the high school chemistry is we essentially take all the information needed for the AP exam and we spread it across 2 years, calling it honors chemistry and AP chemistry. And so in both years they are doing AP level work, and they are very aware of this throughout the 2-year sequence, and it prepares them very well. I've spoken with many students who are alumni of BASIS and have gone on to college, and they've told me how much easier their college courses are because of the work they did here at BASIS. BASIS is designed to be a school based on very high-level academics, and it gives all students an opportunity to reach very high expectations. They do a very good job of rising to whatever level of expectations you set for them. If you set a low bar, that's all they're going to achieve. If you set high expectations, they will rise to those expectations. They will just astound you with the quality of work they can do.
So here at BASIS, I teach most of the high school AP physics curriculum. AP Physics 1, which is an algebra-based physics class, taught kind of at the undergraduate level, and the AP Physics C class, which is same material but taught with the introduction of calculus. And lastly, I teach the senior capstone physics class, which is again taught at kind of an advanced undergraduate level on topics where we've ranged from astrophysics to quantum mechanics to special relativity. I worked as a teaching assistant at the University of Arizona while I was finishing up my PhD in physics. And so most of my experience was teaching these same classes at the undergraduate level at the University of Arizona. By teaching these same courses at U of A, I can compare the work to those students here at BASIS to those undergraduates at U of A pretty consistently. And I would say at the top end, these students could easily compete with many of the students that I was teaching at the University of Arizona. All the kids here are just great, and it's a joy to come here, draw the challenge out of these kids every once in a while to try to get them to see that they can do this level of work. My benefit is that I get to teach the classes I want to teach. I get to teach advanced physics. I don't have to worry about the fact that these are high school kids. And that added benefit of getting to these kids early, getting them to enjoy physics.
I don't know if teaching economics to 8th graders is crazy. I was definitely a little skeptical when I initially was told that I would be teaching economics to 8th graders, but I think it's really exciting to teach it to 8th graders, and I think it's kind of refreshing to teach it to 8th graders and sort of get a different classroom experience with that curriculum. There's definitely a different sort of energy in an 8th grade economics class. I, in particular, try to gear the 8th grade curriculum to prep them for the AP course. By the end of the 8th grade year, I am actually giving them AP-style questions. I'm grading them according to the AP standards. We have, differential equations, linear algebra. This year we had game theory. Next year I'll actually be implementing and trying out econometrics as a capstone, and so that'll focus more on statistical analysis and analyzing data and data presentation.
All of our high school students meet the standard graduating requirements for our state by the end of their junior year. The reason they stay for senior year is because of the unique capstone courses that they get to take. So capstone courses are designed like 200 level or 300 level college courses. So rather than taking a subject like chemistry, they've already taken AP chemistry, let's say, they'll take organic chemistry. Rather than taking calculus again, they'll take multivariable calculus or differential equations or linear algebra. So they're taking more specific content to a deeper level. And it's incredibly exciting because really those courses not only challenge them with higher level material, but a lot of the courses have embedded within them research components. So the students develop research skills along the way. So senior year at BASIS is very unique.
The capstone courses are taught much like a college seminar. So the students have to take responsibility for themselves. They do longer, more in-depth research. They have to do presentations. So all of these skills that they learn will be applied to the senior project.
With senior projects, in the last trimester of the year, students will go off-site and they'll do an internship with an external organization. And the internship and the project is based on the student's interest. So we've had students travel all over the world. We've had students work in biology labs in Paris, in a museum in Iceland. And then that last trimester, they'll go away for a few months and they'll do an internship where they get hands-on work experience. At the end of the project, they come back and they prepare a presentation and they present to the public and to their peers and tell us what their research question was and what they learned from the experience.
Most of the senior projects really do have real-world implications. So we have a student who is studying essentially the history of water policy between the United States and Mexico. We have a student who's working with the University of Arizona to design equipment that's going to go into outer space to explore the interstellar medium. We have a student who is working in a genetics laboratory, essentially trying to find the link between a very particular gene and its relation to our immune system and cancer. So in a very small sense, she's trying to cure cancer.
For AP research students, they'll go off-site and they'll conduct their own research, and then they have to come back and they submit a very lengthy research paper, and it's for also an AP credit. It's like an AP exam, and they have to do a presentation to a panel of teachers and also to their peers. So the senior year is very unique, and I think between the capstone courses and the college counseling program, it's unlike any other high school in the world.